Thanks for the invitation to speak. So I am from United Utilities, the water company serving the northwest of England. So hopefully you don't need a translator for the northern accent. But we are really delighted that we've been able to run a Christians UU group for many years now. I've been kind of helping coordinate it for some time, but for over 20 years now, which predates me here, there has been a Christmas Carol service of some type, where it's maybe been as informal as a few people getting together to do some stuff and sing some songs together. But more recently, in latter years, it's been a pretty big event where we've booked out our conference centre. We have, again, in recent years, formed like a UU choir, which is not necessarily just Christians, it's people who have an interest in singing, but who will then spend some time in the lead up to Christmas rehearsing carols, particularly to lead anybody who wants to come to that service in some traditional Christian messaging that people are generally familiar with. It's really, really popular. We probably get between 70 and 100 people coming to that event. It's generally tends to be fairly traditional in a sense of, we whistle stop through the most common and popular Christmas readings, popular Christmas carols that everybody understands and is familiar with from maybe their school time or whatever. We have mince pies and teas and coffees and apple juice and what have you. So that's always goes down well. But I think what's important, and I link it into what other guys have said there, is that as a diversity and inclusion activity, it tends to go down pretty well anyway. I will add that I'm a member of the senior leadership team of the HR department, which is always handy to get things sort of nodded through. So sometimes that helps. But it's important for us and for the things that I arrange that Easter and Christmas are obviously inherently linked. And we always trail Easter at Christmas and Christmas at Easter, because it's, to use one of my kids' church analogies, it's all part of God's awesome rescue plan. Christmas started it, but Easter moved it to where it needed to be. So we use that opportunity all the time. And hopefully you can still hear me. Went a bit wobbly then. Yeah. And just as a brief testimony about that. So we led in from Christmas into our Easter thing recently. We did our normal Easter celebrations where we tend to do it kind of low key, where it's about symbolic things like an empty tomb on some posters, the three crosses on some posters, and just trying to get people to maybe inquire as to what it might mean. Like, what does this mean? Get in touch with us at Christians at UU. We did have one guy get in touch with us to say he was interested in understanding more. I met him for a coffee recently. He said, I'm not really sure about all this. My girlfriend's a Christian. I fancy, understanding a bit more about it. And I've been listening to an audio book called Dominion, which many of you may have heard of, by Tom Holland. It's all like how the Christian world viewpoint is established in the Western world, basically. And that morning, on the way to work, the podcast that I was listening to was about Tom Holland's Dominion book. And that blows my mind. God's doing stuff. He is directing us through our Christmas celebrations, through our Easter celebrations, through to the next conversation you're having one-to-one. And, that is affirming of my faith as much as it is helping that guy on his journey towards Jesus. So, be encouraged with the work that everybody's doing here, because if you've bothered to phone into this, you want to invest in the kingdom, and you're doing a great job.